All right, everybody, welcome to another podcast. I've got an amazing topic with an amazing person that we're going to be talking about today. Just to give you guys a bit of the state of the union. We're still dealing with this COVID-19 situation. Interesting times, to say the least. I'm sure at some point you guys are going to be listening, or somebody's going to be listening back to this going, man, remember those days? So where we're at is we're trying to bring you guys, and we are bringing you guys the best of the best when it comes to insights, how we can help you guys get through this, how we can best try to use these challenging times as opportunities. So that brings me to what we're going to be covering off today. So I'm here with Bob Gauvreau from Gauvreau and Associates. Bob, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your company, about what you guys do. Our sort of like our relationship, and then let's get into this topic of how to help these guys not just survive, but let's thrive.
Absolutely. I love it. Thanks for the intro. Yes, my name is Bob Gauvreau. I'm a founding partner at Gauvreau and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. We work with entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized business owners, helping them with their accounting, bookkeeping, taxation needs, as well as offering them virtual CFO and financial dashboard services, which is very exciting. And we work with many, many contractors, specifically helping them focus on developing, growing, and thriving financially. So very excited to be here, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, we just finished up a 2-day virtual, our very first ever 2-day virtual workshop. I got to say, that was super cool. We had planned to bring, over 100 contractors to Orlando, the part of the PFC, Profit for Contractors family, and bring them insights around financial mastery. And we were lucky enough to be able to pivot with technology, which is some of the things we're going to be talking about today. Not so much, maybe not directly technology, but just the pivoting part, right? That allowed us to actually move forward with that 2-day workshop. Had the best attendance ever. Able to record things, and it was just absolutely an amazing event. And it was highly because of you, Bob. So really wanted to just thank you for that. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing, dude.
Oh, you know what? There is nowhere, truthfully, that I would have rather spent my time than with, close to 100 incredible people who are just ready to not only deal with what's going on, but really position themselves to crush it once this is all over. Because it will be over, and there will be more opportunity on the other side, I truly believe, than we will ever see in our lifetime. So you know what? There's being an opportunist, and there's being taking advantage of opportunity that's available. And I think all of us should be ready to take advantage of the opportunity that's on the other side of this.
Yeah, before we get into this, Bob, I think one thing I wanted to preface, with some of the engagement we have when we're dealing with lots of people. I know you've experienced this, but I think we all have, where you can call it the naysayers or the haters or all the rest of that. We're like, I can't believe, you're talking about trying to turn this into an opportunity. It's terrible times, it's challenging times. So let me just say something here. There's no fucking question. This is challenging times. There's no question that these are times of uncertainty. And there's no question that, people's businesses and lots of contractors, right, out there, businesses in general are going to be going bankrupt. There's no question. Hardships, cash flow issues, stress in the relationships, all those little cracks have become crevices, have become freaking canyons of like pain and frustration. God, man, people are freaking dying out there. So why did I want to say that? It's because, that's the fucking reality. That is absolutely reality. But there's also another reality. The other reality is that how are you going to use this as an opportunity to make yourself better, make your business better? Or I guess the other option is just stick your freaking head in the sand and just say, well. So when I'm talking about getting opportunities, when we're talking about going from surviving to thriving, I just want to be clear. From my perspective, that's what I'm freaking talking about. Bob, what's your take on that?
Yeah, and for me, it's positioning ourselves to be able to, and it's not taking advantage of anyone in a vulnerable situation. That's opportunistic, right? That's sitting there waiting, lowballing somebody who's in a bad position and taking advantage of them. But there's opportunity and taking advantage of the economic opportunity that's sitting there, right? Because what's going to happen, let's think of it this way, right? I work very closely with the PFC family, and I'm very, very grateful for that. The PFC family is full of members who are, high achieving entrepreneurs, and the individuals who are providing coaching, like Andrew and Liam inside this program, are giving tools that you wouldn't have access to if you weren't part of this incredible community, right? So you're getting tools, you're getting direction, guidance, and then you've got this community of support that you're able to learn and collaborate with each other, right? Totally. So this is an amazing, and probably the best time ever to be part of a community like this, because this is the time that we all need that support and guidance. Now, there's so many of us, right? We're talking about 100 contractors who had a blast and gained so much value on Thursday and Friday. But how many contractors are out there, right? Let's say millions in North America, right? So here's 100 contractors who are a step ahead, right? We're ready to pivot. We're ready to reposition ourselves, and we're going on the aggressive once business opens back up. There's millions of people who don't have this same leg up on their competition, right? There's the same million people who are maybe sitting there, like you said, with their head in the sand right now. And there's probably hundreds of thousands of those contractors who are, on the verge of retirement, and an economic uncertainty like this and a downturn like this is really devastating to them, but maybe they were already positioned financially to retire. That's right. You know what's going to happen with them? They are going to pack it in, and who's going to serve their clients? Who's going to serve that market? I guarantee you there's more than 100 people in North America that are going to be shutting their doors. One, because they didn't pivot, they didn't survive, which we're going to talk about for sure, is how to survive right now. But they didn't change their position, and they just felt sorry for themselves instead of going, how do we react to this? Because this is one business challenge that we haven't seen before. What do we do to react to this so that we position ourselves to gain market share and to deliver exceptional quality service and products to our clients? Because here's the thing, at the end of this, they're going to be sitting there waiting for us. Those projects that we're needing to get done, the plumbing, the electrical, the house build, those projects still need to happen. And now we've got almost a shorter time to do it. So we need to be ready to deliver when this opportunity arises. And that's what I mean when I say, let's position to thrive in this opportunity because it's coming.
Yeah, and I think, there's so many opportunities for you to look at your business differently. Guys, let's get into some of these tactics here and ways of looking at things, from like being able to survive to being able to thrive. And, change is very heavily dependent upon a couple of things. The very first thing is dependent upon your mindset. If you're not open for change, it's not going to happen. Okay? Secondly, you got to have the right level of awareness, and that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about mindset and awareness here, but you got to have the right level of awareness. And let's just look at the financials, right? So that you go, hey, I know what I can change. I know what to look for. And I think top of the list is knowing what questions to ask. So, Mr. Gauvreau, Bobby, my man. So let's talk about the thrive. I mean, you did an amazing presentation, helped a ton of our PFC family. Let's help these guys.
Totally. So when we're in survival mode, right, what we have to do is we have to reverse engineer this and think, okay, what does it take to survive? So if we're thinking of what it takes to survive, what is it that forces us not to survive? And what I can tell you is statistically, 82% of businesses that fail because they run out of money. Not because they didn't have opportunity, not because they didn't have jobs lined up, not because they didn't have revenue or net income. It's because they ran out of cash to continue operating. Totally. So, if we're looking at number one reason to survive, and the number one item that kills a business or kills the momentum of any sort of business is cash, then let's talk about how we eliminate that as a risk in your business.
Love it.
So the first thing we need to know is how to implement a positive cash management and a proactive cash management practice. So I've got 7 items that I'm going to talk to, if that's all right, Andrew.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. So, and just before you get into that, Bob, my team keeps reminding me, because we've created a special resource for you guys. And you know, Bob, some of Bob's training is inside here, guys. I'll just share it really quickly. For those of you just listening in on this podcast, audio-wise, you want to type in contractor2ceo.com/the-workshop. And what's that all about? Guys, this is a membership site for you guys that allows you to get the training that you guys need now, like it's specific to this situation, how to virtualize your contracting business, you know, how to look at your numbers differently. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Maybe you guys can see it. I'll stop sharing. And Bob, let's hit number 1.
Yeah. So the first thing we need to do as a contractor, as any business owner, is get the cash, right? So getting the cash, for me, number 1 is cash collection policy. So what does that mean? That means, how are we accepting forms of payment? Because what we need to do, if we've been really rigid and we've only been accepting, checks in the past, we got to throw that out. People are having a hard time getting checks to us, whether it's because of mail delays, whether it's because of lack of being able to deliver. And this isn't just related to COVID-19. This is in times of uncertainty, and this is in times of looking at ways to introduce increased cash flow in our business. So it's not just COVID-19. These are policies we should implement so we don't have to worry about cash.
Yeah, totally.
So let's collect the cash. So if we've only been accepting check and cash related to our jobs, we need to accept all forms of payment. We need to accept PayPal. We need to accept Stripe. We need to accept credit cards, including American Express, because here's what we do know is that 97.5%, if our fees are 2.5% to collect this money, 97.5% of that cash is way better than 0% of that cash. So let's make it super flexible. Let's accept all forms of payment, e-transfer, whatever it is. Let's get the cash now, because if we have the cash, we don't have to worry about running out of cash resources, and we can focus on strategic opportunities.
Yeah.
Number 1, cash collection. Number 2, in a lot of our contracting businesses, what we've done is we've done work and then we're waiting for payment after, right? So we need to accept all forms of payment, but what we need to do is aggressively go after any accounts receivable that are sitting there right now. And here's the thing, a lot of people right now are going, and because we're going to talk about it on the other side of this, is let's hold the payments, right? Let's try to avoid cash outflow, because that's a good cash management strategy. However, if you're reaching out to your clients right now and they're going, well, we can't afford that right now with everything that's going on because it's a time of uncertainty, here's what we have to do. Offer them flexible payment terms. Can we, instead of saying, we're not going to accept anything and they're not going to pay until later, why don't we offer them to make 5 payments over the next 5 months, or 3 payments, or 2 payments over the next 2 months? Because what that does is it confirms cash inflow in the near future, right? So it continues to bring in cash resources. Yes, we might not get it all right now, but if we can, we should. And if we can't, let's just confirm that we're going to receive it so that we can have a timeline on when that's coming in. So that is number 2.
Okay, now Bob, can I just pause this for
Totally.
1 second, really quickly here? This might blow you away, and I hate to challenge your order, but hey man, that's what we're here for. We challenge each other. So here's the thing. It's maybe it's going to blow you away, maybe it's not. But how many people listening in can you relate this to? Maybe it's yourself. Have you invoiced to begin with? How many people, guys, contractors, all yous, are sitting there and you didn't invoice? You didn't invoice a change order. Why? Because you didn't realize it happened. You didn't have a system. Or you knew it, but forgot to do it. Or you didn't invoice, period. Like, honest to God, it's crazy. Guys, remember, the starting point of what Bob's saying in point 1, point 1 doesn't even start unless you invoice. And you guys, how many times are you not invoicing? You need that. So part 1 I just put into that is that you got to invoice, and you got to use technology, and you, because there's so many people, Bob, that just go on to the next job. So if you have an invoice right now, Grab a freaking whiteboard, keep it simple, go up on the board. If you got a bunch of crews, oh my God, I got 65 guys, I got 5 guys. I don't give a shit if it's just you. Bring in all the people that have some engagement of that, what needs to be invoiced, if that's change orders, extras, you want to call it, okay? Or just jobs that have been completed, or 80% completed. Like, guys, bring in the team, look at the whiteboard, write this shit down, put a number beside it, put a name beside it, assign it to somebody, and get the stuff invoiced. And with Bob's insights here, fucking put in place things so that when they go, hey man, I'm ready to pay, or you follow up with them, it's like, here's all the options you have to pay, then you can collect your money. So that's my little on that one. Okay, so keep rocking there, Bob.
Absolutely. And it's so true. And, you know, meeting with so many contractors, so many people are months behind in invoicing. And truthfully, it's easier to invoice when people are receiving the benefit of that job, right? When you invoice them 3 months from now, they're not having the same sort of excitement for the fact that you just redid their deck or that you've wired their home. You know, like the benefit of that they're feeling is right now, invoice them now, rather than 3 months from now. They might forget about it and go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, if they waited 3 months, maybe they don't need the money that badly. So, you know, getting that out is so super important.
So you see that, and that's the mindset of the client, guys. Okay, it's also the mindset of you because you're familiar. So you and the client are on the same page. Okay, but the other part of it, I'm just going to say, and then Bob, I know you got a lot of other great points to cover off, but this is just super critical. How many people are listening in? Are you listening in and you question your value? And that's part of the reason you don't invoice. Because you're like, I don't know if the guy's going to pay this. Yeah, that's a big bill. Okay, if that's what they've agreed to, if you've performed your services, you sure as shit every morning should be waking up going, I'm providing an amazing value. Because I'll tell you what, we're called skilled tradespeople. We are becoming a dinosaur era of people. Okay, you think about how much time and skill and knowledge you've gained over the years through literally sweat and blood. A lot of people go, what are you talking about? No, this is a trade where you actually sweat and you bleed. You have a lot of knowledge. You're providing a great product and service. Now, if you're not doing a shitty job with us, totally different podcast. But I'm sure most of you guys are. You've got to invoice and believe in your value because you are crazy ass valuable for the products and services that you guys do. Okay, and every day you're becoming more valuable because every day there's more demand and there's hardly anybody coming through the pipeline. Okay, so there you go. That's my last little sentence on that.
All right, so we're getting everything invoiced. We're opening up forms of payment. We're collecting our accounts receivable because they have been invoiced. Now we need to look at the other side, right? We need to look at the payables. So if you're like me, you probably don't like owing anybody any money, and which is the wrong approach to accounts payable management, especially at a time where we need to manage our cash resources properly. So what we need to do is we need to either make arrangements up front for 30, 60, 90-day terms, or we need to just start pushing our payment terms out, right? If you're like me, you get a bill in, you pay it because you just don't want to worry about it later, but that's the wrong approach in times like this. What we need to do is enter our bills and schedule it maybe 30 days out, right? That allows us to bring cash resources in and not push cash resources out. It allows us to increase our safety net, increase our working capital, which gives us, you know, that power for, you know, the next 60, 90 days because we have available to us those cash resources. So another element is pushing accounts payable out 30 days. If we can push it out 30 days, great. 60 days, even better. Like we talked about, offering accounts receivable management, offering maybe over the next 5 months, maybe reach out to your suppliers, reach out to your landlords and ask if you can push out your payments over, 30, 60, 90 days. All right. So what that'll do, again, just gives you more cash on hand right now to be able to have more power and more influence to capitalize on opportunity, which we will talk about in a few minutes. Does that sound good, Andrew?
That's awesome, man. Well, that's
okay.
Cool.
So here, and this is another one that I love, and enough of us don't take advantage of this. So number 4 is what I call moving payments forward. So what that means is instead of doing a job for somebody and then going out and collecting money from them after the fact, right? So having accounts receivable, let's work towards accounts receivable 0. right? And what that means is instead of invoicing people after the job, let's do it when the job is done, collect money at the completion of the job at a minimum. Or if we can move cash collection up to before the job starts or when the job starts, right? Let's get some money, let's get some cash there, which will help us get more cash inflow in our bank. Even better would be, let's start, especially right now, if we're not able to deliver right now, but we know the demand for our service is going to be high, especially if we're thinking right now in the summertime, man, there's going to be a lot of projects that people have planned for that they really need to get done in a shorter period of time. So now is a great time to start taking deposits to guarantee those projects get done.
What about getting financing?
Or getting financing, right? Getting your customers financing for those jobs.
Right. So there's companies out there, and we got some of our clients dealing with finance it, and other companies out there where literally the clients are getting approved on the spot. Okay. So what's it doing for their situation? Guys, whether it's COVID-19 or not, you're helping their cash flow situation, and you're getting paid fully for the job. So everybody's happy, guys. Maybe, it doesn't necessarily need to be something essential, but maybe these people, look, we've all bought things on credit cards and stuff of that nature, and it's not your job to manage that person's life, but it's your job to give them options, right? And you think about that last point you said about the suppliers and this point. I mean, I think you called cash gap, right? Like you're creating a greater gap. One thing compounded with another thing actually has a multiplier effect, guys, on your cash flow, right? And just going back to the last point really quickly is your suppliers want you to survive, guys. They want you to thrive. They don't want you going out of business, okay? The banks right now are opening up the coffers more than ever. And mark my words, those suppliers are going to those banks and they are getting massive loans, because guess what? The bank the bank wants them to survive. So guys, go to your suppliers, okay? For those that are part of the Profit for Contractors team, you definitely want to go into negotiating with suppliers training. And again, back to this membership that we've created for you guys, that training's already in there. So if you get into this, the Contractors Workshop, it's a membership, guys. So every month you get new content, you get 60 new videos, tons of insights, forecasting cash flow. Maybe that's something you're going to be talking about, Bob. But all those types of things in there, guys, that you can actually get the awareness, get the tools, and to bring it into your own business. So what's the next one, Bob?
So the next one is all about financing, right? So here's the one thing that a lot of us do that's wrong. As we continue to grow and invest in our company, we're making profit in our business. We're collecting the cash on that profit, but we're taking that cash and we're buying assets. We're buying vehicles. We're buying equipment out of our operating cash flow. So what happens is, instead of using the bank's money, we're actually depleting our cash resources by buying assets. Now, at a time like this, right, when our revenue kind of drops off, we've used all our cash to buy capital assets, whether it's larger down payments on buildings or on vehicles, right? So many contractors, so many business owners pay cash for a vehicle because they don't want to have debt, but that's the wrong approach to managing your cash flow. So here's what you need to do right now. In a situation where there is uncertainty, we need to go out and we need to obtain financing. Right now, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in the United States, financing is at an all-time low cost, right? We're talking about a few percentage points on interest. Again, what we want is to increase our cash resources so that we have it available, so that when the doors open, we can capitalize on our opportunities. So here's what we need to do. We need to look at what equipment and assets we have, and can we get refinanced? Do we have a building that's got 75% equity on there? Can we refinance and have that cash available to us? Do we have vehicles and equipment that otherwise we could get financed because the banks like security, right? So looking at that as an option, and as well, right now, I know both in the United States and in Canada, the banks and the government are providing, like Andrew said, more financing opportunities than ever in history. So in Canada, Business Development Bank is offering working capital loans, right? All the primary banks in the North America, in the United States and in Canada are providing additional working capital loans, lines of credit that can increase our safety net. And here's the thing, if we get a line of credit and we don't have to use it, that's great, right? But you've got that safety net there to protect you should you need it. And maybe, when we get to the other side of this curve from surviving to thriving, maybe those cash resources can provide you an opportunity to invest in your future.
Okay, I got to jump on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
So some people are going to be like, Andrew, that's pretty, I don't know. Maybe they're not going to support what I'm about to say. I hate to tell you, it is survival of the fittest. Welcome to the world, everybody. Okay, I'm not here to hold back anything. Fuck that. That's not going to help you. Holding back's not going to do anything for you. So here's the reality. There's going to be a couple places you're going to be. You're either going to die, in the sense that your business is going to go under. God forbid if you die. But physically, okay. But seriously, it's really sad. I'm seeing people and family, like members of the PFC family, where they've lost a member. It's terrible, man. It's fucking terrible. But as far as your business goes, it's either going to die, it's just going to survive, and that's just going to be like a roller coaster of just pain, over and over and over. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys listening in have put in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and it hasn't been freaking glory. It's been a goddamn roller coaster of living hell, up and down. Or you're going to thrive, okay? And so what does this have anything to do with Bob's point? It has a lot to do with it. There's going to be a shitload of contractors going to be going under. They have customer lists. They have a lot of people that they've been servicing. Mm-hmm. They have a ton of equipment. We got a client. There's a bunch of them, but there's just more recently, like last week on the workshop we did. One of the clients had their biggest competitor come and knocking on the door saying, "Do you want to buy my business?" For like pennies on the dollar, right? And all the equipment and all this other. So what's he doing? He's getting financing for next to nothing. The customer base alone. Because the other guy's older, and that's the other thing, guys. Demographically, let everybody know, this is going to be more devastating for contractors than probably like a lot of other industries. I'll tell you why. Because the average age of a contractor owner is in their 50s. They're done. A lot of them are tired, and this is just a cracking point. Okay, I hope that's not the case, but it is the case. So it is up to you to use the opportunity and really look at it from an ethical perspective. These customers need your help. Whether it's roofing, whether it's electrical or plumbing or whatever. So back to getting the capital. When the switch is turned back on, you think those banks are going to be playing the same game? No, man, the cards have changed. So you guys need to get on this now. And my last little point on this, at least here in Canada, and we know it's happening in the States as well, but I'll just say more specifically. You can get a loan, if you get a loan, business loan. Bob, you know better, way better than me, right? They're say you get, I think it's like $40,000 business loan. When if you pay it back within middle of 2020, tell me about this, Bob.
Yep. So as long as you pay it back, 30,000 of the 40,000 by December 31st, 2022, they forgive $10,000 of the loan.
Okay, so everybody, get ready for this one. You guys you're gonna love this. Bob, let's see. Bob's the smart accountant, so we're gonna put him to the test. So Bob, if a contractor's business net profit is 10%, which by the way, there's hardly any of them that we meet are at that stage, right? How much sales would they have to get, Bob, to equate to a $10,000 in their hand?
It would be $100,000.
So guys, you hear that? $100,000 worth of work that you don't have to do in Canada here, and you get to keep the 10 grand. I'm sure shit gonna be applying for that. Do I need it right now? No, but I'm a businessman. I'm gonna be smart, and I'm gonna use that money to help more people. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So, and did you know any insights on the States, Bob? Is there similar programs like that?
Yeah, they've got their 200-page document that I'm avoiding like the plague. But I know a lot of people have way more insights on that than me. obviously we continue to share what we have access to,
Mm-hmm.
to PFC members, but right now, we're the Canadian experts as far as what the government's offering.
Sure.
The US is too big of a package for me to jump into right now.
Right. So, and guys,
but it's there. It's there.
It's there.
There's tons.
Yeah. So, these are, how many, here's I'm going to wrap up with, I'll let you finish, some of the other insights you want there, Bob, but I'm definitely going to wrap up talking about reflecting on the past and just think about all those other moments in your life, guys, where you were like, shit, I shoulda, right? Oh man, when that stock market crashed, I shoulda, when the housing market crashed, I shoulda. Huh? Let's see what happens with you this time, right? So, Bob, what else we got?
Yep, I have two last ones, but just to jump in on that point, when we first started this, you were talking about, some people who are going through mindset struggles right now, relationships are struggling. And, one of the major reasons that people have mindset issues and relationship issues is related to money, right? And money is cash. Money is not making profit. Money is cash. So if we can eliminate cash concerns from your mindset, from your relationship, right? To know that there's certainty that you're going to survive through this, right? It eliminates a lot of the issues and concerns around a negative mindset. So why wouldn't we position ourselves, if we can, to avoid those negative mindset concerns, right? Just eliminate them because we can. We have the steps, we have the tools. Let's do that, right? So the last 2 points are like this. We all have non-essential assets in our business. For example, we were chatting with a PFC client a few weeks ago, and because of the decrease in revenue in their one specific industry, they had surplus vehicles, right? That they didn't need right now, but the vehicles were, $1,000 a month payment. So what he did was he sold off the vehicles, got the cash for the equity. And what he'll do is hold on to that cash right now. And then when the doors open back up, he'll go out and get a brand new vehicle, right? And so we all have older vehicles that maybe are sitting there that haven't been used. Let's take the opportunity now to eliminate those non-essential assets, sell them for cash money, put that cash money in our bank account and buy them again when we need them in the future, maybe better, right? But right now we need the cash. The second part to that is having a sale, right? If we're contractors, if we're in construction or electrical, we've got surplus materials, plumbing, right? We've got inventory in our trucks that maybe we don't need, right? It's surplus inventory, or maybe it's stuff that's obsolete, right? That we don't need, but other people would find value in it. So now is a really great time to liquidate, get your stuff organized, liquidate what you don't need, and pull in the cash resources related to that.
I love it. Quick little thing, going back to, I think it was point number 3, and I'll get you the wrap up, what the points are before we finish here, Bob. But when I'm looking at you, when I was looking at you recommending them going to suppliers and asking to extend, their payment terms and stuff like that, it's also a great opportunity to get better pricing. It's also a really good opportunity with this point number 6 to take that inventory that you have, like whether it's 14 rolls of 14.2 guys or whatever, sheet metal or whatever that's new, and take it back to those suppliers, right? Like now is the time that they are going to want to help you the most, and so give them the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. And Andrew, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to turn this into a 2-part series, my friend.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
I feel like we're going to have to. So this might be the survive component of survive and thrive, but part 2 might be how to pivot to thrive.
Freaking right? Let's do that. Let's do that.
So let's finish this off then with a recap of how to survive and what we can do. Guys, these are 7 actionable items that we can do to improve our cash position, improve our mindset, improve our lives, right? Totally. And create ourselves the ability to capitalize on future opportunity, because I guarantee you it's going to be there and it's going to be amazing. Okay. So how to survive. 82% of businesses fail because they run out of cash, not because they're not profitable, not because they don't have great opportunity in their business for the future, but because they run out of cash resources. So here are the 7 ways as a recap of 7 things we need to do now to make sure that cash resources are a non-issue for our business. Very first, actually, sub one is make sure you do your invoicing. To Andrew's point, if you're not doing your billing, get in there now, get in your office, start issuing the bills and start getting those out to your clients. Because if you aren't sending them that, they're not, there's a small percentage of people who reach out and say, hey, you haven't sent us an invoice, we're going to give you some money. But that's maybe
let me ask you this. When
that's
was
maybe
the last
5%.
Yeah, when was the last time any of us ever did that when that happened? And
Right.
it wasn't because we were being an asshole or trying to rip people off. Like, we got other things on our mind, man.
Totally.
Okay, guys. So your job is to invoice to make it top of mind. That's your job. It's not their job. It's not their business is not owning your business, right? Like, okay, so number one, sort of like 3 pieces of it was make sure to invoice. What was the second little piece of that?
Yeah, so then we'll go through the 7, but invoice for sure is like sub 1.
Yeah.
Number 1, cash collection policy. Make sure that you're increasing your forms of payment. Let's make sure that we're accepting everything because, again, 97.5% of that $100 is better than not having anything at all.
Yeah.
Accounts receivable management. Let's go after anyone who owes us money right now. Let's reach out to every single one of them. And, if we can't collect all the money right now, at least we're going to make some sort of arrangement so that they can pay maybe over 2-3 months. But let's make sure that we're making arrangements now on those accounts receivable so that, 6 months from now, we don't forget about them and they don't walk away from your accounts receivable. So let's get on the aggressive related to that. And let's improve our policy on accounts receivable management going forward. Number 3, accounts payable management. So deferring payments to our vendors, maybe making arrangements with our vendors, with our landlords on postponing payments so that as our cash continues to come in from receiving payments from our clients, that we're able to build up a stock of resources, of cash resources, to make sure that our safety net and our working capital is as high as possible. Number 4, move the payments forward. So instead of collecting money after the job has been completed, which is accounts receivable, let's move it to required to pay upon completion, or even, when we start, or even better, getting deposits for those jobs that we're going to be doing in the future to secure a position to make sure that those projects are going to get done.
And leverage the shit, guys, into financing.
And leverage financing, right? Let's find a third party who's going to finance the purchase for the clients. Then you don't have to worry about your receivables, right? Then they're dealing with your receivables. Awesome. Number 5, obtain financing. So look at any of the equity you have right now. Look at ways that you can leverage that to go to the banks and get working capital. Go out and ask for lines of credit. Go out and ask for available loans right now. Again, the interest rates are low. Let's extend our cash resources so that we're in a really good position, guys, to capitalize on the opportunity that's going to happen here. Number 6, liquidate non-essential assets. So that is any of our vehicles, our equipment, that we don't need, that haven't been used, and go out and liquidate them for cash money right now. Let's, again, improve our cash situation by eliminating those items that aren't earning us money right now.
And some of the big ones like vehicles and shit like that. Like a lot of you guys have got big equipment. Like seriously, go and liquidate these things if you're not using them.
Absolutely, yeah. And the last one is have a sale. If we've got inventory, if we've got excess materials that are sitting there that are valuable to someone else, but maybe we don't even use them anymore, right? We might have tons of extra stock of materials and we've moved on to a different product, a different supplier, and we'll never use these again. Let's package that up and let's liquidate those out. And again, get the access to cash related to those inventory items or other small items that we otherwise wouldn't use. So if we implement those 7 things, plus make sure that we're invoicing our clients, you're going to significantly improve your cash position in your business, which is part of surviving. Because again, if you don't have cash, 82% of businesses that fail run out of cash money. So let's implement all these 7+1 steps to make sure that we get the cash in our business to continue to position ourselves to thrive.
I love it. So this is part 1, guys. So anybody listening in, this is part 1 because part 1 was so awesome. Part 2 is going to be just killer, which is, it's all about how to thrive, right? How to take your business to the next level. Again, surviving allows you to get through this. I mean, literally, this is what Bob's saying. Like, set yourself up so that you can get through this. And in your heart and your mind, you got to know as a contractor, our services are needed. Whether it's new, whether it's whether it's, on the service side of things, like our services are needed. When we come out of this, it's going to be a massive boom. But are you going to actually be there on the field, to benefit from it? Or are you going to be like looking back going, fuck, man, I've got to go work for somebody now because my business failed and I didn't get through the survive side of things? So guys, this is Andrew Houston from Profit Contractors. Again, welcome to another, I'm glad you guys were here for another great episode of, the Contractors Workshop. This is sort of like my final little thing here, Bob, Bob, you're familiar with a lot of the trainings and stuff that we covered off with that 2 days. We got some of that gold that's in there. Bob, what would you speak to people joining, a membership type of workshop whereby, you can basically get these resources, get the training you need? What would you say to that?
Yeah, and I think I spoke to it at the beginning, but I don't think I can speak to it enough, that having access to, one, a community of supporting people who are in the same position, learning from them what has worked and what hasn't worked, and to have available to you guidance and resources that 99% of your competitors don't have access to, right? This is the competitive advantage. Being part of a community like Profit for Contractors is the competitive advantage that will allow us to thrive. And, this podcast is just one example of the tools that are available inside Profit for Contractors that we, and I say me because I work very closely with them and continue to provide content so that they can allow these items to go out to their clients, right? I'm contributing, Andrew and Liam are contributing so much, and so many other resources in here. Guys, you are missing out, and you do not have the competitive advantage you could have if you're not part of this community.
Well said, Bob. Well said. Okay, this is part 2 of the podcast. The last podcast we went, I'll get Bob the highlight, but we talked about how to survive. I mean, we're in these challenging times. Again, maybe you're looking back on this video, maybe it's a year later, whatever, but right now, in the moment, we're in an interesting time in history with this COVID-19, where the whole world, we got this new pandemic going on, and we're seriously talking about how to survive in the last podcast, but today, man, is all about how to thrive through this. So Bob, maybe introduce yourself and let's kick this off with just touching on a little bit about what we covered off in the last episode and what we're going to be covering off today on today's episode.
Sounds great. So Bob Gauvreau, founding partner of Gauvreau & Associates Chartered Professional Accountants. So we provide accounting, bookkeeping, and tax services for entrepreneurs. And even more specifically, we work with a large group of contractors and collaborate very closely with Profit for Contractors in providing significant value to that industry. And even more specifically, we've got a virtual CFO program that is my baby that really helps contractors understand how to create the roadmap to generating massive financial results in their business. So that's a little bit about me. Last episode, Andrew, we talked a lot about the survival piece and the fact that 82% of businesses that fail because they run out of cash resources, not because they don't have a huge potential or a massive future, or even that they aren't profitable, right? You can be profitable and run out of cash. So last time we talked about how to gain our cash resources. And now what we want to do, now that we've established how to attain all of our cash resources, increase our safety net, what we want to do is we want to focus on the model reset, right? So inside a pandemic and inside times of uncertainty, our financial model changes in our business. So we're going to touch on that. And then once we understand how our model needs to reset, we turn towards the opportunity that's going to be lying here at the end. Again, every time that there's an economic downturn, there's a massive opportunity on the other side. And we want to make sure that all of the contractors out there are positioned in a great spot to make sure that you capitalize on that opportunity.
I love it. I love it. And Bob, don't need to get into all of them. I don't even think we need to cover them off, but yet to say that we covered off 7 key principles that you went through, totally made sense. And those principles in the last one, we're talking about survive through these times, but these are principles, everybody, all you contractors out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a roller coaster ride, unless we get, financial mastery, unless we really start getting our hands wrapped around what to look at financially and how to read our finances and, really how to read that scoreboard. But you covered off 7 key principles in the last one. And I want to tell you something. I wanted to give you a big thanks, bro. Okay. I mean, I know you're going to be providing more podcasts and being on more podcasts here with me. But you just did a 2-day intensive financial mastery workshop where you were like the primary speaker that we had. I mean, you're part of the Profit Contractors family, right? I mean, you are going to be doing what's called a KPI mastery call with all of our clients today. But I wanted to give you a big thanks, dude. You did 2 days, fucking unbelievable content from teaching the clients not just how to look and review at their profit and loss statement, but literally how to utilize it to get them to understand that with small little changes, right, you can have massive, massive impact. But you got to know, what those changes are. You got to know how to read those changes. And I'm sure maybe that's some of the stuff you're going to be covering off today. But I just want to say thank you for being part of this community, part of our family. I know you're in our Champion CEO Facebook group, where you're giving advice, you're leading people. Like literally, man, I'm super proud to have you part of this family because you're leading people, especially our Profit Contractors family, the Champion CEO family, giving them advice, giving them tools and insights and links of where to get government funding and all these kind of things. But anyways, man, big high five to you, brother. Okay,
I'm super grateful.
Yeah, man.
I'm super grateful to be here. And here's why. Because I know my expertise, right? I know how to identify those opportunities. But the cool part is collaborating with people like you guys, right? Who come in and you guys have the tool belt, you have the toolkit. When I say, hey, here are the 3 ways to create opportunity in your business, you guys have the checklist for people to implement.
Yeah, you're talking about like a tool like this, right? Like the contractor survival kit. Like things.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have access to this? Why wouldn't you download this? These are tools that, they're implementable tools that people can take and put in their business right now. And, these are part of the small incremental changes that you can make to have a massive impact. And so it's really awesome that you guys are bringing that value together, right? Again, my expertise is financial, coming in and identifying patterns and being able to create a map, but you guys have the implementable tools that just complement it so well. So, I'm super grateful to be part of this community and happy to collaborate with you guys, now and in the future. And, it's exciting times because there's such great opportunity that's going to be sitting here in the next 6 months. We'll talk about that. But, as a team, I feel like we bring so much value to this space. And I honestly don't think anywhere else in the world you're getting this collaboration coming together and providing so much value. So thank you for being that part for us.
Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, it's I wouldn't even call it the yin and the yang, but it's like we're synergistic. Look at everybody listening in. You all have an accountant. You all have a bookkeeper. Okay? I'm going to be the first to say, everybody might be like, oh, what's in this for Andrew with Bob? You know what? What's in this for me is that we're able to help you guys. Okay? Whether or not you become part of the Champion CEO community or not, we are here. Bob and I are here. Whether or not Bob becomes helps you on the bookkeeping or accounting side because he's got a freaking amazing team. Yeah, he's my accountant and bookkeeper. Okay? I looked for 10 fucking years, everybody. 10 years. And Bob knows I have a little bit of, people say maybe angry, management issues or whatever, but no, man, it fucking pisses me off because one of the biggest challenges and issues I've always had, okay, is finding an accountant and bookkeeping, accounting company, bookkeeping company that knows their shit, that doesn't try to make themselves look like they're smarter than the contractor, okay? And knows what to look for, knows how to educate and teach their clients on how to get financial mastery. And we are, the other side of that, equation. They go, well, like you said, that we need to increase our profits on certain jobs, or on all jobs, or how, we need to make sure we quote profitably. Well, with Bob, with us, that's what we help you do. So guys, I shared really quickly the survival kit. I'll just pop this up here really quickly. Okay. This is literally filled, and I might be referencing it as we go through here with some of the key strategies. These are things that are tested, proven, and working. You can see, dozens and dozens of clients that are actually getting the results from this stuff. So if you want this, baby, if you want the survival kit, you guys can just direct message me, okay, in Facebook group. If you're part of the Contractor Tips group, just direct message me. If you're not part of the Contractor Tips group, look up the Contractor Tips group, and you guys can become that. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can just direct message me. I don't know. Let's go with Thrive. I like the frickin' today's word is Thrive. So direct message me. Thrive will get you this kit, and we get you these insights. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Bob, over to you, brother.
So we've got our cash. We've established that, and maybe just as a little bit more detailed recap of that. So there are 7 tools to get cash. We've got our cash collection policy, making sure that we're accepting all forms of payment right now.
Invoicing first.
Invoicing first, yes. We had the sub A. Make sure you invoice. If you don't invoice, then you can't collect. Let's make sure that when we collect, we have all forms of payment that are being accepted. Yes, there's costs associated with that, 2.5%, 3%, but 97% is better than 0%. So let's make sure we get access to that cash. Accounts receivable management, again, going proactively after those accounts receivable right now, making sure that we're collecting everything. Accounts payable management, deferring any payments that we possibly can right now, moving the payment outflow forward instead of backward and paying those off, and moving the payments forward from the transaction time. So instead of collecting money after you've done a job, let's collect it before you do a job, or let's start looking at ways that we can collect deposits before we can do jobs right now, right? If we can't be working because the government has shut us down, let's look at ways that we can start attaining cash right now for future jobs. Looking at financing, let's get financing in place. Let's make sure that any loans that we can get at low interest rates that we have available to us, let's increase our line of credit, increase our safety net. Let's look at.
And by the way, everybody, just pause on that for a second, guys.
Yeah.
You're out of your freaking mind. If I don't give a shit if you're in wherever you are in the world, okay, Canada, U.S., I don't care where you're listening in on this. You're out of your mind not to leverage getting better financing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bob. Even if you don't need it, I'm doing it. I mean, Bob's helping me do it, but I mean, am I right? Like, if somebody's like, man, I don't need to get financing, why would I get another loan, Bob?
Yeah, well, and we're gonna talk about that. Cool. But for me, I didn't need the financing either, but went out and got $200,000 at 3.3%. Because guess what? If I can make that 3.3% convert into a 20% return in my business, what better way are you going to make money than not only creating a current value, a current return in your business, but a long-term value in increased business value and a long-term reoccurring revenue stream, right? So looking at this as a way to attain cash to be ready to invest. Maybe it's not in your business, maybe it's in the markets, right? There's lots of opportunity that's sitting there. So making sure that we have access to that cash is so important right now. So we're getting financing. We're also going to look at non-essential equipment, tools, vehicles, anything in that nature right now that we don't need, that we can't use. Let's liquidate it. Maybe it's a time to get rid of something old and line up something new so that when everything opens back up, we've got the new efficient vehicle, tools, whatever we need, but let's liquidate that now, get access to the cash so that we're in a powerful position. And the last thing would be, having a sale on any of your older inventory. If you've got old inventory that's sitting there or old tools or parts, let's get rid of those. If we're not using them, let's get rid of them and turn them into cash so that we have access to those resources right now. So that's a bit of a recap from part 1 of part 2. So let's get into, if you're good with this, Andrew, let's talk about model reset and what that means.
Rock and roll, baby. Do it.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing, guys. So when we're in a time of uncertainty, we enter into this with our existing business model, right? So our existing business model, when I talk about that, I think about our profit and loss statement and how we generate income inside of our business. So right off the bat, we've got our revenue stream. We've got our cost of goods sold, which for most contractors, almost every contractor style business, we've got either purchases related to that revenue, or we've got labor related to that revenue, or maybe vehicle costs. You know, there's other direct costs that relate to that revenue, right? So these are our costs of goods sold. And on each revenue, after we get our cost of delivery, we have a gross profit, right? So typically in a contractor business, you know, we go depending on the volume, right? If you're a super high volume, maybe your profit's a little bit lower. If you're more of a customized space, your profits are a little bit higher. So you're probably in the, 20 to 60% gross profit margin range for every contracting business. From there, after we have gross profit, we have our fixed expenses, which include, our insurance, our rent, any of maybe our office salaries, maybe some advertising budgets, membership fees, professional fees. All that stuff is more of a fixed expense, right? And by fixed expense, I mean that they reoccur on a monthly basis and they don't really fluctuate. And if you look from year to year, they tend to not fluctuate either, unless you're having to, increase the foundation of your business, more rental space, more office staff.
Right.
So unless you're having to do that, those numbers stay pretty flat. But here's what happens, right? So let's go back up to the top of the model. We've got revenue minus direct costs, which typically includes our labor costs. So let's just use a little example. We've got a contracting business that's $1 million in revenue. Of that, we've got guys that are $400,000 for payroll, right? And we have to keep adding guys as our revenue increases, right? So
and by the way, everybody, sorry Bob to interrupt, but everybody, if you're listening in and you're sitting down, like this is the whole goal. This is the whole goal behind video podcasts. And even if you're listening on the audio side, write this shit down. So the 7 points that Bob talked about, go back to the beginning, write this shit down. Okay, Bob's starting to go through this. Pause the freaking video. Go grab your P&L statement. Like, guys, take action. All right, this is the real deal. This is shit that you'd pay literally thousands and thousands of dollars for in getting advice. So I just want to say that because Bob, you're already giving tons of gold. Keep rolling. Totally.
Yeah. So our model, again, here's the example: $1 million in revenue. It costs us $400,000 in labor costs in order to deliver that revenue, right?
Yeah.
So again, as we continue to grow, we want to get to a $2 million business. We're going to have to continue to scale up that labor so that we increase capacity to deliver on those jobs, right? We need more and more resources to make sure we can deliver. But here's what happens, right? We've got $1 million business, $400,000 in direct labor costs right now. What happens if we've been deemed to be a non-essential service right now and our revenue is dropped? Maybe we can still do emergency work. So what happens is our revenue drops to 500,000, right? So what happens is some of our direct labor costs, which have typically been 40%, if we don't cut our labor costs in direct relation to that drop in revenue, we now have $500,000 in revenue and $400,000 in labor costs. Now our profit is only $100,000 versus $600,000.
Yes.
So here's what happens in this model. If we don't adapt that direct labor cost right away, what happens is our gross profit that's sitting there is now not covering our fixed expenses because we haven't cut down the space that we need. We haven't been able to reduce our insurance costs. We haven't been able to reduce our office costs, which might be, owner manager remuneration, all of those things. So if we don't adapt the top part of that model as we change, as our revenue changes, then we're going to be creating a substantial loss in our business. So this is what happens, right? So as our revenue changes, if it shifts backwards, we need to adapt quickly, because if we don't adapt quickly, we're not going to survive. Even though we've got all of these cash resources now, because we've implemented the 7+ invoicing tips, if we don't have, if we are continuing to lose substantial money, those cash resources will not last. Right? So it's super important that we identify that these changes are happening, and we understand which ones we have to modify right now and take action on right now, so that we can position ourselves with all our resources that we have available to thrive once the opportunity happens.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want me to go into some of those strategies, or are you going to talk about some?
Yeah, why don't we hop into that, Andrew? So again, guys, just looking at that model, how it changes, and this is part of the collaboration that I spoke about before, right? So I'm able to identify these patterns, and then Andrew and his team at PFC come in with specific tools to help exactly outline this for you, right? So let's talk about some of those tools.
Yeah, so I mean, if we just look at this, guys, this is from hundreds of strategies, which we don't have time to go through. But I'm just going to highlight this directly related to these times. And I call it I almost look at this as the evolutionary contractor. Either you're going to evolve, right, and survive to allow you to thrive, or you're going to, stay where you're at and just freaking die. I hate to tell you. There's two camps that people are in my opinion. I think people are in the camp of stick their head in the sand and just say, what the fuck, there's nothing I can do about this. Like, I got all this time in my hands, I don't have any clients. Like, I don't know, man, I'm just going to go, I don't have control of this. Like, and that's the attitude of like the die attitude, right? And then actually maybe there's three. And then there's the survive, which is like, I'm just going to get through this as best as I can. And that's it. And then there's the thrive, which is just like, I'm going to fucking evolve. Like that's it. This is game changer time. So guys, this is just one of the pages, okay, out of like the 17. Like crazy. Look at this. Talk about evolving, okay? Look at your overhead. Look at your ability to get the guys out. We're stuck in the old age of thinking that we've got to dispatch guys and have this massive fucking shot. You don't, guys. Like, you can we're using right now Zoom, right, Bob?
Yep.
Right. I mean, on the live client event that we had, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, we were all supposed to be in Orlando, Florida for 2-day workshop. All right? And I'm telling you guys, we just don't talk it, we fucking apply it. We had our 2-day workshop, even though we weren't able to fucking go there physically. You're like, what? Yes, actually, it allowed us to evolve as profitable contractors. Even though we use this technology, we've never done a 2-day workshop. And Bob, it was fucking amazing, and it was recorded. So yeah, man, we had team members dial in on this Zoom. So guys, Zoom is the app that we're using right now. And so much of this technology is free, but guys, we had like hundreds of people engaging on this, and their team members. They were able to involve their team members remotely so that they de-risked any of the hazards, things of this nature. So let's just look at this. Dispatching from home. Guys, you got to do it. I'm not going to get heavily into it because this is Bob's talk today, but this goes hand in hand with what Bob's talking about. Materials delivered to the curbside. Like, why do we have guys standing in the fucking in the distributor's place, guys? Like, I used to work for Westburn Ruddy, right? One of the largest electrical distributors. And how many guys would I see lined up at the fucking door waiting to pick up rolls of wire? Those are all these employees getting paid to stand there, to wait, have a coffee, shoot the shit. Like, no, hey, the guy's going to show up, the material's already there, pick the frickin' stuff up, guys. Like, talk about billable hours going up, okay? One of our clients on the dispatch side, just really quickly, he was able to get an extra 30 minutes from each of his team members, guys. 30 minutes, 10 guys, think about this. He equates this to, on his billable hours, he bills out about $150 an hour. Long story short, he's looking into the $100,000 range of increase in net profit, guys, just because he's able to dispatch from home. And guess what? His guys love it. Why? They're able to freaking spend an extra half an hour or so with their kids, with their family, with their wife, right? And actually, and have this de-risk environment. Inventory, guys, track and move it out, man. Right, Bob?
Absolutely.
Right, like, guys, you got inventory there. What is the best time to return this? The suppliers want you to, they want you to survive, guys. They want you to survive, and they want you to thrive. So, guys, make sure you look at your inventory. That can be done, like, while you're right after this call, right? Team training online, like we just talked about that, right? Everybody's going to have access to all this amazing training that we've got. Customers, educate your clients, guys. Interact with them from a lead gen quoting perspective, guys. This doesn't mean whether we're still in COVID-19 or not. You're crazy not to be marketing like a madman. Okay, this is the best time to differentiate yourself. You don't think your clients are still don't need a roof done when the fucking thing's leaking? They still need a furnace. They're still not looking at projects. They've got more freaking time in their hands to freaking look at, my God, love my wife. She doesn't watch this. Well, it's okay. She's on those freaking, all right, Bob? I mean, tell me about your wife. And maybe you do it too, but, these home networks, like, renovate this. And for us, it's springtime, right? I mean, we're not in Australia, right? But it's springtime. People are still looking at, oh man, I got to get that deck repaired. Like, guys, you can still engage with these people virtually. Now, imagine if you were able to do that and your competition wasn't. Guess what's going to happen? What is it, Bob? What's the word? We're going to
We're getting ready to thrive.
Yeah, man. Okay. So outbound calls, guys, make it happen. Social media. Bob, you know it. I know it. I'm going to stop sharing this. So guys, I mean, again, if you want this thing, direct message, thrive. If you don't, if you're not in the Contractor Tips group, get in the Contractor Tips group, guys. There's a couple of questions that you got to fill in to get in there. Why? Because guess what? We're very protective of our family. Okay. We don't want jackasses coming in there. Okay. That are just there to take, but we want people that are willing to give as much as they take. So there's just one page out of this. So Bob, there's my little rant on that.
Totally. So that, that was kind of tying the model reset, guys. So back to our model, right? We're identifying that there's things that need to change. We need to make strategic decisions quickly. And then we're implementing the thrive. And that's what Andrew's talking about is here's the new opportunity that we have. So what we have to do when we're getting ready to thrive, we have to adapt our new model, right? We've got a new model for our business. Maybe right now we're able to learn a few things like Andrew just talked about. Maybe we're able to communicate with our clients through Zoom. Maybe you've never done it, but maybe what I can tell you is the last 6 months, I was a pre-COVID Zoom user, an avid Zoom user, and the ability to communicate with people all over the world through this communication tool is amazing. So how we can adapt those sort of communication strategies inside our business is maybe something that, this has kind of forced us to evolve into and adapt into that is a long-term benefit for our business. So looking at our new model and coming up with a new vision, right? It doesn't mean that we're looking, and this is why I don't like the word pivot that people are using right now so much because we're not transforming the industry that we're part of, right? We're still in the same industry. We're adapting to our environment. We're adapting to our uncertainty right now, and we're modifying how we do things. But I don't feel like we're pivoting in totally different directions. Totally we're just modifying what we're doing.
Well, we're adapting to evolve.
Totally. It's an evolution. And right now we have to evolve. Otherwise we don't survive. And it's just like evolution of mankind, right? We've had to evolve over billions of years, maybe millions of years. I don't know. I'm not an evolution expert, but whatever number of years we've had to evolve to be where we are today. And, we're continuing to evolve and maybe more so now than ever. And the same is with our businesses. We need to continue to evolve, to adapt to our environment, to reposition ourselves, to be ready to thrive. So we need to identify what's going on in our model. We need to see our new model, what that looks like. Maybe it's a new cost structure, right? Maybe it's a new pricing structure now that we're identifying how our model is changing. But then we have to reposition it, right? So we need to reposition with a new vision. Maybe it's using new tools. Maybe it's looking at collecting cash up front, right? As opposed to cash at the back end. Because here's what we do know. Like Andrew said, the opportunity is sitting there. Those people who have, a new deck project or a new shed or electrical, they need a new panel. Those projects are not going away, right? Just because COVID-19 showed up just means that they're putting this off to a future date. So what's going to happen is when COVID-19 opens back up, there's going to be so many people who are demanding your services. So let's look at that right now and say, hey, if that's an opportunity, right? All this work is going to be sitting there. Maybe we can go out and we can start collecting deposits on that job, on those jobs, to guarantee those clients that those projects are going to get finished as soon as it gets started. So now we're not only are we going out and getting those clients before anyone else does, but now we're collecting money up front when maybe we collected it behind. We're increasing our cash resources and we're guaranteeing the future work because people have already put money down. So this is part of the way of taking advantage of the opportunity. Not only, so again, we've got our cash resources built out, we've stopped the bleeding from adapting our model, and now we're looking at opportunity. So is this an opportunity, right? With everyone online right now, is this an opportunity for us to really share our brand, what it means to work with us, what quality work we do, how we care? You know, this is the biggest time at least in my history, where people are online, and online evolution has been changing so much. But now that people are at home, they're sitting there on their phones because they're bored to death. And if you can get in front of them right now and share the value of working with you and your team, we've got such an opportunity to build up a new market share, especially when we're thinking that some of our competitors are going to put their hands up because either one, they aren't going to have the cash resources, or two, they're just going, you know what, this seems like too much work. I was ready to retire anyway. And three, if they just don't survive, all of these people have all these projects that they need done. And who are they going to come to? Probably the person who they've started believing in the value that they offer because they've been seeing you in an online presence.
Okay. I love it.
Right?
I love it. So that's Thrive. That's Thrive, right? Like,
this is positioning to thrive. And I guarantee you that there is more opportunity sitting on the other side of this COVID-19 open up than we will ever have. So guys, get ready to hold on, step back. There's taking advantage of opportunity, and there's being opportunistic, right? Opportunistic is sitting there and taking advantage of people when they're in a vulnerable state. What this is maximizing our opportunity that's available. These people need us. They want us. We're not capitalizing on them being in a pain position. We're going out there and offering our value and making sure that we're offering our value more than anyone else, right? Because now is the time that we position ourselves to really capitalize. And if you want to be part of a growing and scaling company, this is going to be the greatest opportunity for you to grow and scale.
Totally.
And one last thing, Andrew, is while we've been maybe shut down or our revenue's been reduced, this is a serious time to invest in strategy and investing in community, right? So when we're looking at going forward, let's invest in getting all the strategic tools and all the collaboration and all the networks we need so that we are fully prepared that when this thing opens up, or even before it opens up, to really position ourselves as a leader and to capitalize on that new market share, because it's going to be there.
I love it, man. I love it. And look, guys, you know, one thing I just want to highlight here is when we talk about Thrive, what's your definition of Thrive, Bob? Because I've got my own little 2 cents of what that is. What's Thrive look like for you?
Yeah, so it's the opposite of survive to me. Is instead of sitting back and going, okay, these are the things that I need to do to survive. I need to protect, right? So thrive to me is being like, security is taken care of. We're going to survive. This is how do we strategically implement opportunity? How do we execute on opportunity? Because thriving is just, we're going and we're going to capture it all. Like, this is our time to really win.
Okay, cool. I love it.
What's your definition of thrive, Andrew?
Well, I think thrive is, when you look at thrive, you're literally leapfrogging decades to days. You're literally leapfrogging. Anybody listening on this fucking podcast, ask yourself this question. You've been around long enough. You can look back in time, whether it's the fucking stock market crashed, the housing market crashed, and you think that you got this little devil over here. You know, I remember my brother Isaac. He used to say, "Mom, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it." To the point that my mom bought him a little thing, and he still has this. Says, "The devil made me do it." Where it's like, "Oh man, don't do it." Now's not the right time. And then there's this guy over here going, looking back, going, "You fucking idiot! You just missed it. You missed it again." Okay, this stuff doesn't come around, guys. This stuff comes around maybe in a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. Fuck, I don't know. Okay, this is the time for you to step up your game. And thrive is literally leapfrogging. You take one of these fucking strategies, guys. Okay, and it's one thing to go, "Oh, here's a strategy." It's one thing to have Bob go, "Hey guys, here's an idea." Bob's doing it. That means that our clients, we've got clients that are using Bob, okay, and they're using Bob because he's giving them insights and such that they're making decisions and they're getting results. By the way, right fucking now. People getting results with the strategies matched by Bob giving them the right set of lenses to see things, guys, where they can look at their numbers and go, holy shit, you mean if I just change this one little thing, I'm going to be what? If I change this thing by 5%, I'm going to have 5% increase in the bottom line. And Bob's going, no, dude, you increase that by 5%. And you're going to get like 25% on the bottom line. This, by the way, evolution, right? Thriving, okay, is understanding no more 1 + 1 = 2. Right? 1 + 1 = 10, maybe 100, maybe fucking 1,000. Okay? Maybe 1 + 2 strategies equals freaking 200%. Like, Bob, like that workshop you did was freaking awesome because we were going head to head, going line item by line item, and our clients are going, holy shit, look at these strategies. Now they've already applied them. I'll give you an example. One of our clients that, and this happened to tons of them, but I'm just going to pick one. Roofing company. You guys are like, what the fuck, roofing company? Yeah, if a roofing company can do this, okay, any of you guys can do it. Why am I saying that? I'm not putting down roofers. I'm an industrial controls licensed electrician. So I used to build automation lines. Why am I bringing that up? Guys, clients that I engage with or people that are in that space tend to be more technology savvy. Their clients tend to be more technology savvy, right? It's a fucking robot. Of course they are. Now you're putting a roof on. One of our clients, Jay, is just sold. He was on I think he mentioned it in the training. $98,000 roof. Just one example. $10,000 roof. $23,000 roof. Now, how the fuck is he doing this? I'm going to give you guys some behind the scenes stuff. By the way, if you want the tool, okay, you want to hack. What's hack mean? Hack means learning from freaking other people that maybe spent back to decades, the days. Maybe they spent 10 fucking years to try to figure it out. And you get to learn it in what? How fast, Bob?
Oh, instantly. Yeah. And this is the value of the package, right? Now the package is the start. The package gives you the tools, and then what you need is the people to help you implement them, right? So, but get the tools.
That's it.
Like
man.
there's nothing. Just get access to the tools.
That's it, man. So guys, DM, thrive, okay? Get in the freaking group. And here's the other thing I'm going to tell you guys, okay? I would love to connect you guys to Bob, but let me tell you something. Bob might not like this.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I'm going to be straight up. If you can't take the fucking time to get your hands on this tool, I'm going to help Bob filter out Class D clients. Why? If you're not willing to take that level of action to direct message Thrive to get this, why the hell would I ever let you get in touch with my accountant and bookkeeping company? Why? Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to waste that company's time. And guess what? I can't afford that. Okay. My clients can't afford that because Bob's their resource. Okay. We got KPI mastery call today, right? I'm going to have like 30, 40, 50 freaking contractors more on there, guys. And Bob's going to be going through, how to read your, what are the key KPIs? KPIs, guys, what was KPI, Bob? Explain to them. Some people are
key performance indicator, critical driver. It's named 100 different things, but it's things inside your business that if you tweak them, it has a massive impact.
Yeah. I call it the dashboard. Okay. You all drove this morning, or you're driving listening to this right now, right? Remove the dashboard from your car. Think of this for a second. What? Like, I remember I'm dating myself now, Bob.
Well, and it's the GPS, like specifically the GPS too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's the GPS, right? But if you can't even read the GPS, dude, then it's just a fucking something sitting in front of you. It's like completely useless, right? I'll never forget, oh my God, the Twilight Zone. Oh my God, the Twilight Zone. Do you remember?
You are dating yourself. You are.
I know.
Yeah, you're going way back here.
Way back. Okay, but okay. So the Twilight Zone. Again, I have older brothers and stuff like that. They're all into this they're all crazy freaking love comedy, right? And they're like, Andrew, you gotta watch this. So, and it's this one episode in the Twilight Zone. I didn't watch it regularly, but I remember my one brother going, "You gotta watch this episode," and I know why he did this. I'll tell you in a second. So I'm watching this thing, and the guy's driving along the car, and he's by himself, and long story short, picks up this hitchhiker, right? And the hitchhiker goes, you know, they're driving. He's like, hey man, I'm going from point A to, I'm saying I'm going from Canada to New York City or something like that. And it's like, yeah, man, we got like a few hours to spare. Like, I know, man, what are we gonna do? You got any ideas? And he goes, yeah, man, let's play a game. So one guy, he says, hey, I'm gonna play a game. I'm gonna hum a song and you got to guess it. Okay, so they play that for a while. Let's get a little bit bored. My guy goes, okay, I got this other game. The driver goes, I got this other game that I want to play. And he goes, but it's a little bit risky. He says, okay, man, yeah, sure. I'm in. I mean, fuck, we've got a few hours to spare and we got to stay awake, right? So he says, so he goes, just play with me, man. I'm just like, pretend you're in the story. I said, okay, all right. Driving along. Say, all right, man, driving along. Oh, rock hit my lights. He turns off the lights. Now it's pitch black, guys. They're out in no man's land, so there's no light whatsoever. So imagine you're driving down the road. Now, and the guy is like, holy shit, man. And he's freaking out. Why is he freaking out, Bob?
He can't see. He has no idea where he's going.
Right, and he's afraid of what's going to happen.
Oh, he's going to crash.
He's going to fucking
die.
crash. Is there a corner coming up? I don't know. Is there a bump in the road? Is there like, I don't know, is there a hill? Is there a rock? He doesn't know. Okay, oh my God, okay, thank God the lights came back on again. So he plays this. Long story short, reason my brothers had me watch it is because around the third time, I'm ruining it. None of you guys are going to go watch this anyway. So third time, he turns off the lights and then turns back on. Turns out the guy beside him is a werewolf. And it's like, ah, right? And so I was like, oh my God, I got scared, right? But guys, the moral of the story is you've got to thrive. I know, eh, Bob? Fucking crazy. My brother's like, I know, seriously. Okay. So the moral of the story is what? Guys, you've got to know to thrive. You got to know one of the most important languages of business. And the most important language of business is numbers. Would you say that's right, Bob?
100%.
And you'd like, Bob, just let's wrap this baby up. Like, what would be some of the key? If there's one or two key principles. Somebody's listening in. They're like, they listened to the last podcast. They're like, fucking those 7 strategies, man. I can apply that shit right away. Hey, I DM'd Andrew. I got the freaking survival guide. I'm freaking now going. The opportunity to thrive is right there. What would be a couple of key tips or last words of wisdom that you'd give?
Yeah. So as part of the thrive, knowing some of your key margins, what is your gross profit, right? One of these things is that we need to not only understand where it was, understand how it's adapted and where we want it to go. Gross profit and gross profit margin are so very important. Looking at your break-even point. So right now in your business, now that we're having to adapt to this uncertain economic climate, we need to know our break-even point now more than ever. So our break-even point is the revenue number that we need to drive on a monthly basis or even on a daily basis, depending on how far you break it down. That's the number that you need to generate so that you're not losing money, right? Or on the other side, it's the number that you have to hit before you start making money, right? So that is super important. Looking at cash flow, super important. But here's the thing. So as part of Thrive, right? We can understand our financial information. And I know so many of you who are listening to this probably don't have up-to-date financial information, which means you don't have the knowledge and information you need to make the right decisions, right? So number one would be make sure your stuff is up to date. If you don't have a dashboard, it's super important to understand exactly what those key numbers are. But even more important than that right now, getting ready to thrive is understanding the prediction of what is going to happen in the future with your business, right? And we might not know the day that we're going to open back up, but when we do open back up, we know what our capacity is. We know how many jobs we can take on. We know what our pricing is. We can predict what's going to happen in the future. And we need to get away from being reactive into being proactive and predicting out what those financial results look like. Because here's the thing that so many business owners miss is that we don't understand what our actual goals are, right? Do you want to make $100,000 this year? Do you want to make 500, $1 million? If you want to make $1 million based on your numbers, based on your gross profit, based on your fixed expenses, we can predict out what your sales number has to be in order for you to hit that target. So Get away from being reactive. Get into proactive. Now's your time. You've got the time to work on your business right now. Get into predictive. Get into benchmarking what your future success looks like. Because what that is like the GPS where you're putting in the end destination and it's telling you turn left, turn right. You know, here's the way that you need to get to that end destination. That's the same with predicting and benchmarking your financial results. So Andrew, if I can do one quick plug in here, this is why we created the virtual CFO program. And this is why we're collaborating with Andrew too. And so many of our mutual clients are now taking advantage of this, because with the tools that PFC has and our ability to map out what that future roadmap looks like, with everything together, guys, we are generating massive results. So you can do it on your own. Figure out how you predict it, figure out how you implement some of the tools in this free guide, or work with us and we'll help you get there.
Yeah, totally.
We won't just help you get there, we will get you there.
Yeah, see, and this is it, right? I mean, it's all how you want to look at it, right? I mean, do you want to do it the hard way? And here's the thing. I'm going to just share something a little bit personal here on the mindset front, and then we can wrap this baby up. I'm looking at my hands. Why am I looking at my hands? My hands are a little bit yellow, everybody. Okay? As tradies, you know what that means, right? We appreciate getting calluses. We appreciate working hard. Guys, I mean, seriously, just quick, I appreciate that I built this freaking desk. Could I have hired somebody? Fucking right, I could have. Like this desk that raises and lowers, I look at the brick behind me, the beam above here. Yeah, did I do some of that shit? Yeah, man. Did I have to? No. We are tradies at heart. And what does that have to do with anything? We appreciate doing certain things the hard way. We appreciate being a skilled tradesperson. A lot of our knowledge, a lot of what we do is actually being lost. Okay, the masons of the world, the millwrights, the electricians, like there's not a huge wave of people wanting to learn this shit. People don't want to get their hands dirty anymore. So what got us to where we're at, and what is part of our core identity, and I never thought about this until now, is that we do appreciate doing things the hard way. Okay, I grew up on a farm. I appreciate shoveling shit. I do. I appreciate going out with my dad. My dad's 86 years old. He's still got fucking 16 horses. Like, he's crazy, okay? He's like, you want to go to the gym? I can come to my place. I'm like, that's the old school, right? But when it comes to business, guys, it's okay to do some of that stuff. But what's not okay is doing it the hard way when it comes to your business, because it affects yourself, right? It affects your families. It affects your clients. It affects your ability to deliver this gift that you really, in my opinion, it's a gift to give to people, right? People have no fucking idea what it's like to be a tradesperson. I know what it's like. It took me 5 years just to get my fucking ticket as an electrician. I came out and I thought I was freaking, I didn't know anything, right? And it takes years and years and years and years of practice, okay? Just get really skilled at your trade. And there's certain parts of it where you have to do heavy lifting. You got to bend the fucking pipe. You got to pull the wire, and you appreciate that. But you've got to separate that mindset from being able to not just survive, but to thrive. And thriving is doing things with people like Bob, whereby, like, don't try to be a fucking accountant. I mean, Bob, how long have you been doing this for?
Long time.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, seriously, right? And
you can tell by the long gray hairs that I can't cut off
actually,
anymore.
no, man, you're looking pretty slick, dude. You're looking pretty slick, man. For 69 years old, you're looking good, dude.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
No, but seriously, like, think about all the knowledge that his team has. Some of you might be thinking, like, yeah, but my wife does the bookkeeping, or I do the bookkeeping. I get it. You want to be proud of what you do, and you want to feel like, hey, I can do this. You got to put that aside, honestly. Whether or not your direct messaging saying thrive and you're going to get this tool is really in your hands.
So Andrew, can I say one thing in here?
Yeah.
And it's and I can't think off the top of my head who actually said this quote, but it's so true and it resonates with me. It's what got you to where you are now is not going to be what gets you to where you want to be. right? So many of us as entrepreneurs, as tradespeople, right? I'm not a tradesperson. I just understand how your business works really, really well.
Yeah, but hold on. But you also understand through us working together, let's face it, with us bringing these strategies to the forefront of yourself and your team, you guys understand the fucking impact because you've seen it on with my numbers, with our clients' numbers. You've seen the impact of it. It's not just theory. And you're able to give advice to go, like Bob understands more than any other accountant and his team does, the importance of pricing your frickin' jobs properly. The importance of like the importance, and I'm just going to shut up here in a second, not just the importance, but the complexity of fucking cash flow, guys, where you've got to pay the goddamn suppliers, right? They want their money. You got to pay your guys. You got to pay the fucking tax man. You got to pay all these fucking people. And if you didn't filter fast getting the right fucking client, and you got a deadbeat client, class D client, and he doesn't pay you, Bob understands the impact of that, guys, right? Who the fuck? Ask your accountant, ask your bookkeeper, right? And I'm just giving a little plug for you, Bob. Ask yourself
brother.
this question. No, fuck, because dude, I'm serious about this, okay? I'm dead serious, okay? And I've sat in rooms with some freaking big firms, and I'm sitting there with the client, and I'm going, dude, do you understand everything he says? And my client's going, who's the client, the accountant's client. So, man, I understand. Debited this, credited this. Like, what the fuck? What's that mean? I'm like, hey, Mr. Accountant, yeah? Okay, it's official. Okay, you're making yourself look. You think you're making yourself look smart? You're making yourself look fucking stupid. This guy doesn't understand the goddamn thing you're talking about. He doesn't even know how to price jobs. This is where Bob's team comes in, and we can help you guys. So, Bob, guys, if you're interested in hooking up with Bob, okay, definitely DM, and you can say Thrive and say Bob, Thrive with Bob, maybe something like that, and we'll fucking hook you up. But again, if you're not willing to get the tool, you're a class D client in my books for Bob. So there you go. That's my sort of rant.
Absolutely. And just back to, what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to go. And contractors are entrepreneurs. And I think of all entrepreneurs as, the guys who, and I've been there, done that too, still doing it, grinding, 70-hour weeks, because that's what you need to do to deliver the revenue that you need to make. And then all of a sudden you make a small change and you add a person and your capacity changes, right? So grinding your own hours out isn't what got you to the next level. And thinking of what's been there in your past is not going to be the thing, is not going to be the methodology to getting you to the next level. We need to continue to adapt and position ourselves. And maybe this is a great ending piece, Andrew. We need to continue to adapt and evolve and position ourselves to continuously thrive. This is not just COVID-19.
Yes.
This is continuing to adapt, to modify, to evolve our businesses so that we can reach our end potential, reach our end goals, and continue to position ourselves to thrive in the future.
I love it too. Okay. That's it, guys.
Awesome.
That's another podcast, part 2, from, how to go from just how to survive. Right, guys? Go back to part 1. How to thrive. That's today. Make it happen. You want to thrive? Then guess what? Direct message me. Thrive. We'll get you this freaking wicked tool. And if you're interested in getting insights and having a discussion with Bob, which Bob, like, you offer up like maybe this is the final little piece on this, guys. If again, if you're interested, great. If not, you should have jumped off this call for ages ago. Is, like, you offer up a complimentary assessment or something. I mean, am I putting my foot in your mouth?
Oh, we do that for PFC family for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're a member of the PFC family, absolutely. We will have a 1-hour session with you, identifying where your opportunity to thrive is. If you're not part of the PFC family, we can definitely set up a 10-minute connection call, help you identify what some of your issues are and see if there's an opportunity for us to work together for us to help solve that problem.
Right.
I'm going to reserve that 1-hour free review, Andrew, for your PFC family members, because it's super important that people have the strategy in place or are taking the initiative to get themselves to the next level, because we want to help those that are willing to invest in improving themselves. So, you know, that 1 hour session is going to be reserved for PFC family. If you sign up with PFC, we will get an introduction. We will get you logged in and booked for a 1 hour session with me personally. We're happy to do that. If not, and you want to reach out and see how we can help, you know, we're happy to do that as well. You're just not going to get that 1 hour session one-on-one with me. But you know what? If we identify that there's a way that we can help you, we're certainly going to be able to set up that one-on-one session in the future.
I love it, dude. I love it. Okay, so look at everybody, super pumped. The next session we're going to be talking about, just to give you guys a heads up, you know, we're going to be talking about literally this survival kit, how you guys, you know, I'm going to go deeper into some of these quick strategies. Probably going to have maybe a couple of clients on here, so it's not just freaking fluff and stuff. It's actual reality, how these things have changed their business. I can't thank you enough, Bob. We're going to bring you back for more sessions, and we'll talk maybe right after this call, like what are some of the key topics. For those in the Contractor Tips group, guys, let us know what you want to know. Say it again, let us know what you want to know. If you want Bob to go deeper into, or have Bob come back and go deeper into cash flow, forecasting your cash flow, which is super key. You know, how to review certain aspects a little bit deeper, you know, how to figure out your break-even margin, shit like that. We can definitely look at doing that. But again, help us to help you. You know, good old Jerry Maguire, help me to help you. And that's it. So this is another episode. DM, thrive, guys. If you really do want to thrive versus die, and versus survive. Survive is a fucking, it's good because then you get through the other side, but fuck, it's no way to live a life, eh, Bob?
Let's thrive, buddy.
Yeah, that's it, man. Okay, guys, we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks, brother. Catch you later.
Thank you.
See you guys. Ciao. Bye.